The kettlebell swing is a fantastic exercise that I often incorporate into my high-intensity interval training programs, but you can incorporate it in any way that you can. What it does such a good job at is it simulates jumping, and on top of that, it simulates jumping without the impact on the ground, so it saves your joints a bunch. Now, correct kettlebell swings are few and far between. A lot of people use kettlebell swings incorrectly, where they try to use them trying to work on their posterior chain, but you'll see them working on their shoulders. And the way I can tell that is the weight is not floating at the top. They're having complete control with their arms as the weight is at the top point. Now, the step-by-step process to do a proper kettlebell swing is as follows. Okay, first, you want to select a kettlebell. From here, you get your feet shoulder width apart. You might want to have your feet pointed slightly outward, especially if you want to get more of your outside and your hips and your glutes targeted, but you could have your feet pointed straight as well. From this point, you're going to go down and pick the weight up. Now when you go down, you should be hip hinging. That is the number one problem with kettlebell swings. People forget to hip hinge. A hip hinge is pushing your hips backwards, allowing your torso to come down. It is not squatting down to pick the weight up. Okay? So, as you hip hinge down to grab the weight, okay, if you hip hinge and you can't get the weight from there, then you can squat here from here, and then from this point right here, you're going to hip hinge forward to propel the weight up. Now the hip hinge is ultimately throwing your hips forward and squeezing your glutes to get that motion of the kettlebell moving upward, okay? So hip hinge back, come forward, back, forward, back, forward. As you can see, the kettlebell is floating at the top. I can take my hands off of it and it would still float and I can grab it. So it's all hinging of the hips. As you go down and throw your hips forward, squeeze your glutes on the action going up, okay? This can also be done with a dumbbell, okay? It doesn't have to be a kettlebell. You can hold the dumbbell, hands over just like this, all right? Hinge your hips back, hinge them forward, boom, hip hinge. Let the dumbbell float at the top, float, hip hinge, and going up just like that, okay? Incorporate kettlebell swings, try them out. And again, make sure you get those hips hinged to go down. Don't squat, hinge your hips, okay? Let me know if you have any questions, try them out, let me know how it goes. Rock on.